data collection and processing of that information. And I'll skip past this. A14, I'm sure you guys have heard before. And I dropped that in, our nice little trophy we won on Wednesday night. Cheers. Right, so I did these slides last time. I'm going to do a quick dummies guide to pipelines and then tie it into Azure. So, sources everywhere. Don't know what they are. APIs, Excel, you name it, anything goes. Data transformation, bringing that mess together and producing something Mr. Perfect, the optimized version, which you can then pull your dashboards together on. That isn't the reality. It takes a while to get to that point. So what do we have? We have a look, we take an extract out. So my experience is generally construction, so there's a lot of spreadsheets. Take the spreadsheets, combine them, quickly do a quick Power BI report just to show whoever it is you're working with what data they've got, what you can do with it, and then start it. Then you start coming back, so you kind of go the left side of the pipeline, then you jump to the end, then you start coming back again. So you start to decide what your actual optimized data model should look like. Then you start going, right, okay, now we should start looking at our sources again more properly. APIs, how do we pull them in consistently? What's our schedule? Are we looking at monthly reports? Are we looking at weekly, daily, live, that sort of thing? Then we've got our pipeline. So you get to the end, happy days, you've got a nice pipeline. Never stays that way. And certainly in my experience within the project environment, it's continually changing, continually evolving. The needs of the project change during the life cycle. So early on, you've got different things going on. You've got lots of procurement, you've got lots of that sort of stuff. Towards the end, you've got less so. And then it's just kind of turn the handle kind of stuff. So I just wanted to share with you the journey that we've gone on the A14 to get to where we are today. So we started, this is all in Azure as well. So we started with a virtual machine with SQL Server integration services and a SQL Server sitting on a virtual machine and plugging Power BI into that. We've still got a single source of the truth, it's still coming through, and management still see this lovely glossy layer at the end, but what I wanted to focus on more was how we kind of work with that data. That was version 1. We kind of got to the point where we didn't want any physical machines running anything. We wanted to do as much serverless as possible. So step 2, we took the SQL Server off of the virtual machine, and we've now got a platform as a service SQL Server in Azure. And then we get a little bit more advanced, and this is what I presented at the last hack, number 3. And I think I tried to do all of this in one masterclass, which was a little bit much to do. Things like, I think I've got speech. Data Lake and Analytics. Sorry, this is Data Lake and SQL Server again. So the idea is still that you do a lot of the merging of the data, the combining of data sets. It's all done on Data Lake, and then your optimized model sits on the SQL Server. But using tools like Data Lake Analytics, Data Factory, Logic Apps, and Function Apps. That was probably 3 to 6 months ago what we were thinking. Now we are on to version 4, which is data flows. So the idea is we still have the data lake, so we still have all of that raw information landed from the sources. So you're extracting JSON files, Excel files, and CSVs from sources. You land them in Data Lake, trying our best just to use Logic Apps, but we may have to use Data Factory as well. That then sits as a raw, kind of this is basically how it's extracted from the system, and then we're going to try, not tried yet, but maybe with Rishi's help, using Power BI data flows to take the data and produce the data sets and data models that we'll then use Power BI to report on. Any questions?
Data lake for the data lake.
Yes, yes, so that, sorry, there should be an arrow there, yeah. So, in true kind of seat of your pants style, I'm going to try and run this and show you guys what I attempted last night. So, have you all seen Microsoft Azure?
No.
Right. So, you log in to portal.azure.com. So, Azure is Microsoft's cloud service provisioning system. The cloud-based, so there's databases, there's storage, there's computational services. It's big. What you've got in there is you can split things up into resource groups, and if I sign in with the right account, sorry. I think as part of this weekend you get Azure credits, so if you want I can give you a 5-minute go into how to get connected and what you can do. In here, if I just quickly open a Logic app. So a Logic app is a reaction-based service in Azure. It can react to changes in data from a source, and you can run it to run on a schedule. So you can say, okay, every minute, every 10 minutes, every half an hour, every hour, or every day, run something. And it can run queries, and it can run extractions from APIs, and it can run copy and paste. It's basically a reactive tool. We can go somewhere and grab it. And it can react to a change in a file as well.
That means that you get rid of the Power BI live connection, because you are pulling this to this data lake and stay there basically as update.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the liver you get Logic app isn't the right tool for, but certainly up to, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, you can run Logic apps and it will just trigger every 10 minutes and do an extract. Take the data and drop it into data lake, keep dropping it. Drop, 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 and your data is then stored there. So, can I... Right, so this is quite a basic Logic app. And in the designer, if you've ever seen the interface before, you basically just have steps. So this is a simple one, it runs every day. I've got a variable, which is the number of ticks, so that's a conversion of a date time stamp into a massive long number, so I've got a unique identifier. So now what I'm doing is using the Dark Sky Online and Web API. So when you sign up for Dark Sky, it gives you a link, and then it's just a get API, so you can extract data from just sending some query to this URL. Then I'm going to create a record in Blob storage. So this one isn't in Data Lake, but I just wanted to get it up and running so you guys can see the flow. So in Blob, you can then do what the name of the file is. So I know this is a .json file, so it's structured in that way. And then the content here. So when you're using Logic App, when you click around, it will pop out this tooltip kind of thing on the side. And depending on where you are, it knows what's available to drop it. So at Blob content, these grey things are previous steps. So HTTP is the name of the previous step. And then I can just drop in the body of the response from that particular step. That kind of makes sense. So the idea here is Simple, run a schedule every day. So at 3 o'clock on every day it will run. Gets a variable called ticks, and that's just a unique identifier basically. Then it queries the API, and this is just a web service call. You can do get or post if you know APIs. Gets a little bit more tricky if the API needs authentication, because then you need to do a step before and then pass that authentication token to the next step. But keeping it simple for now, this is just a get and it doesn't need authentication. Drop the URI in, that's just the address for the query. Nothing else needed for that. Then all we're doing is this body here is from the result of here, because it follows the next step. Drop that as the content, and then the name of the file is just using the unique code. So, if you click run, it ignores the timing, so it's not going to run at 3. Obviously, if I click run now, it will run. And nice and quick. This is not a complicated one. It's all done. So, the next tool to know, when you're browsing data lake and blob storage in Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer is the tool of choice. Just a folder-based browsing tool. Should have opened this earlier. Okay, so that's landed in excuse the mess. So we should see a new file in here. Last modified 1044. So this is taken the data from the API and dropped it in as a JSON file in Blob storage. Can I have a quick look just to make sure it's working? So just double clicking on the file, I'll open it up. Not formatted very well, but this is their JSON file. So you've got your curly braces, and then it's all kind of, it's JSON formatted. So it's semicolon and then comma delimited. Right. So that file now exists, happy days. What we would do next then in our flow. So we've got the source, we know it's API, it's weather data for this location. It's an API call. The orchestration up here we're doing in Logic Apps, so we're running on a schedule. We're actually dropping it in Blob for this demo, but you can drop it in Data Lake as well. Now we're going to connect Power BI data flows to it. So this is dead new. So I had a chat with Microsoft. It was Monday or Tuesday this week, and they said, really, you should use data flows. So I've only had a week playing with it. So I'm not quite up to speed yet, so heckling is welcome. So I gave it a go last night, and it seemed to work. So in Power BI, in the web service, there's differences between what you get in Power BI if you've got Power BI Pro license or you've got Premium. This is off of Premium. I think there's more you can do with Premium, obviously. So the idea is, within a workspace, to provide us you've got the workspace kind of headings here, and then you've got data flows. That's what I attempted last night, so it worked. But what you would do is create a new data flow. And the interface for using these is Power Query, so it's very similar to manipulating the data as you would see it in Power BI. Well, while that's doing that, I need the URL for this file. URL. Makes sense so far? Have I got it right? Let's see. Right, so as far as I know, the entities here are just tables. So that's kind of, you build an entity, you've got yourself a table. It seems to be a one-to-one. So we'll create a new one. And then this gives you all the sources of data that you can extract from. So quite similar to the import types that you can have in Power BI. We want, where's Blob? Your blobs. So this is connected already, so right, so that's done. That was as easy as that to connect to the blob storage. And this is the same as this view here. So A14 landing is the name of the storage container, and then these are the blobs inside. So I create one called hack. And hack. Select this, and it will bring the files. So then we need to do a little bit more work to pull the data out of these files. Right, which was that? So there's gaps in my knowledge still on how you append, which I think to hack 5, if you come in, I can do that. But at the moment, if I just jump into a file and we'll format it and then plug it into Power BI. So if I click on the file that I'm interested in, this is now showing the structure of the JSON file, so it's all hierarchical inside. From the Dark Sky API, it gives you your current weather down to the minute, down to the hourly for the day or the daily record.
Does that actually say it's raining at your spot off of a radar, or is it the latitude and longitude is pretty precise?
It is. Yeah. So it's based off of a local weather station, I think.
Oh, so nearby
I think so.
station.
Yeah.
For some sites like yours are very long. Maybe you're grading the road on a long stretch.
Yeah.
And another site is interchange. It's a relatively small location.
Yeah, so for A14, we pull 3 weather points. One at the end and one in the middle.
Right.
But that's the best we can do. But all you really want to do is find out where that weather station is, and then you can make that decision based on the radius of that and where the others are.
Summer thunderstorms sometimes are very localized.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. And the longer the project, like HS2, they're going to need to go a whole way out. Okay? So if I pull the hourly, come on. Because the JSON file isn't the same as a tabular file, it takes a little bit of drilling just to get the right data. So I think this is it. I'm going to convert it to the table. It's crossed. Expand. Great. So now, dead easy really. I wasn't sure it was possible to start with, but because JSON is built up using the curly braces and the comma delimited, and it's just a different data format to tabular. This was dead easy to do. So it's extracted the data from JSON, and we've got the data now coming in for every hour over the last 24 hours, I think. Oh, 48. So then, now we're into Power BI territory now. We've got a data set, it looks very familiar. So if I quickly I can't do the data set. I'll I'll save it. We'll call this. So that's the same as you would with Power BI itself. You can set the refresh schedule with Premium only 48 times, with Pro only 8 times in a day. Add more detail. This something for next time when I figured out how it works. That seems to be quite handy. So you're only pulling data that's changed rather than the whole data set again. Right. So Power BI. So then you can load up Power BI desktop and connect to that data set. So as you would, get data. Is everyone happy with Power BI? Enough?
First time I used it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so
I don't know what kind of questions to ask because I'm a construction project manager. I don't know what kind of questions to ask and how to communicate with data scientists or application developers because I don't know the vocabulary.
right,
I
cool.
learned concatenate from my wife.
Yeah.
We've got user IDs, multiple user IDs. Plus one user ID is a painter, a bricklayer, a carpenter. He's not the same guy doing 3 different jobs. He's actually 3 different people. We have to concatenate
Oh, really?
to
Okay.
identify that that's 3 unique entities.
Well, let's have a chat after this. 'Cause we can probably help you out with a bit of vocabulary. Just to... Right, so if I just do a quick Power BI. So you've got Power BI data flows. So we can connect to what we've just created. And it was in the signage workspace for some reason. Back to version 2. So I guess the good thing about having it available like this is we want to move what we're doing in a project environment to a little bit more self-service. So we're providing Power BI with a bit of training to those that would have used Excel. Saying, right, okay, here's a published data set. You can plug into it. You can go grab it from here. Drop it.
So how are you doing that then with licenses? Because that's where we've come from Power BI. Because people are wanting to look at Azure dashboard and all the rest of it. They all need licenses to be able to do it.
Yeah, basically that is the conversation. So there seems to be with Power BI, well, Power BI free. As soon as you get doing this sort of stuff, it becomes dead. There's no point. So then you've got Power BI Pro versus Power BI Premium. It seems to be about 300 to 400 users is the tipping point where Power BI Premium becomes a bit more of a, getting more value from it. If you're building up all of your data flows and data models, Power BI Premium could then kind of kick in a little earlier because you get a lot of compute through Power BI Premium that you wouldn't have got through Pro. But they're going to get you. Right, so. Right, so I need to refresh this. Wait for it, I'll find it.
Power BI Pro you can also get with Office. That's what like Blob up done like as 70,000 Office 365 so that includes Power BI Pro.
And how many people want to manipulate that? How many people just want to look at a snip?
They just want it to use it. Follow the lecture, so you've got to have a license.
Yeah.
Just to use it.
You can't just snip it and capture it as an image and say that that's the image for today's report.
That's the thing though, because if you want to look at real-time stuff, you have to have that by date.
Right, so I've done a refresh. So when you first build the data flow, it's empty, so I had to do a quick refresh of the data. And then with Power BI, just set these column types. So I'll just set those to small. That's just loading. So a quick chart then, because going through Power BI is another session on its own. And if I plot time oh yeah, the times, the Unix time, so apologies for that. But this is the last 48 hours, I think, of time for this location. That was a good reaction. I was worried I wouldn't get one of those.
You pay for these.
Yeah, so I guess what the point was to show from API through Logic Apps through Blob or Data Lake, it's not that hard to get to a point where you can drop something on Power BI. There's a lot of steps in the middle, so ensuring that if you're pulling more than one source, my time is way off, so you would actually want to know what time that is, because that's a Unix value. But yeah, I guess the idea is to kind of enable you guys to go play, so you know what options are out there, and then yeah, you can plug into Power BI, and do I have more slides?
Demystification.
Pardon?
Demystification.
Yes, that's it, yes. So, a little light touch in some areas, and if you come back for Hack 5, I'll know what I'm talking about in the data flow space a bit more. Right, so we did that, we did Logic Apps. Yes.
It's the same as Flow.
Sorry?
Logic Apps is the easier version of Flow.
Yes, exactly the same as that. Yeah.
But is there a reason, so what are the reasons you chose Logic Apps over Flow?
So Flow seemed to be more highly linked to an account, whereas in Azure you've got it as a service. So we've got probably a team of about 5 people who have access to Azure. They can go in, and we've got it nice and named nicely. Obviously not this hack one, but named nicely in a resource group, so we've got a bit more control over it.
It's exactly the same thing that you actually.
As Flow it is, yeah. Power Apps is more about the data collection, so the creation of a form and stuff. Any more questions?
How expensive is it to load Logic Apps?
It's per run, I think. So we've found that it isn't as expensive as Data Factory, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly. But it's pence per run, so or even less than a pence per run. So then if you're running it, so that's where you get your balance between okay, I want live data, but nobody actually is looking at live data. So you find that balance between refresh from 1 minute, 10 minutes, half an hour to an hour, and you go, well actually, half an hour to an hour is enough for some people, reduces the price of the computation to run it.
Could you make something to run like a taxi meter or a Uber meter, so that would show you how much it costs to do the analysis this way and that way?
That would be neat.
Then
The
you can
tools,
project your cost for running this for the
Yeah,
rest of
so-
the year.
Because you have a clocking timing as well.
yes, so
Spend so many, you see the clock.
in Azure, you do get access to the billing, so it will break down the services, and yeah, you can see like by a particular resource. Perhaps when the camera's off, I'll show you the A14 data. That's interesting to see.